Assalamu alaikum, dear viewers. I am Dr. Mohammad Jahangir Kabir from Bangladesh. Nobody wakes up on morning suddenly diabetic. It doesn't happen overnight. It's a slow, silent process that begins years, sometimes decades before your blood sugar even rises. And that process has a name: insulin resistance. Most people have it, they just don't know it yet. That's why I say insulin resistance always comes before diabetes. Always. Let me tell you the story behind it. The story your doctor never told you. Imagine a family: husband, wife, two kids. They live a normal modern life. They wake up late, rush to work, skip breakfast, or eat toast, jam, tea with sugar. Lunch means rice, bread, fried food. Evening time, tea again, biscuits, chips. Dinner, late, heavy with dessert. Day after day, year after year, the same cycle. Now, the body is constantly being told sugar is coming, sugar is coming. Every meal, every snack, every sip of milk tea makes the pancreas release insulin. Insulin's job is to take the sugar and store it into your cells. But what happens when the cells are already full? The cells say no more room inside. But insulin keeps knocking and knocking and knocking. After years of this, the cells become resistant. They stop listening. That's insulin resistance. Let me make it simpler. Imagine you live near a busy railway line. The first few days, every train horn feels loud, even irritating. But after a few weeks, your brain stops responding. You just don't hear it anymore. That's exactly what happens with insulin. At first, your cells respond beautifully, but after too many insulin spikes, your cells stop responding. They become deaf to insulin's voice. Your body, confused, produces more insulin to force the message through. Now you have high insulin but normal sugar. That's pre-diabetes. The damage has already begun. Even if your sugar looks okay, and that's where most doctors miss it. They only check blood sugar, not fasting insulin. But insulin resistance can exist for 10 to 15 years before sugar starts rising. During those years, high insulin quietly causes fat storage in your belly and liver, constant hunger and cravings, low energy after meals, PCOS in women, erectile dysfunction in men, high triglyceride, low HDL, high blood pressure. All of these are early warnings. Your body whispering, please stop, something's wrong, but we ignore it until the sugar finally goes up. And then we call it diabetes. Let me tell you about one of my patients. He came to me saying, Doctor, my sugar was normal all these years. Suddenly it jumped to 12. How? I smiled and said, No, brother, it didn't suddenly jump. It was climbing slowly for years. You just never looked at insulin. When I checked his fasting insulin, it was 25. For years, his pancreas was screaming for help, but everyone only looked at blood sugar, not the fire behind it. So, why does insulin resistance happen in the first place? Because of modern lifestyle chaos. Let's be honest, we eat too often, 5, 6, 7 times a day. We eat processed food loaded with sugar, seed oils, refined carbs. We sleep late, wake up tired, live under stress. We sit all day, never move our muscles. We avoid sunlight but love screen light. Each of these things spikes insulin again and again. Your body never gets a break, and when insulin is always high, your cells start rejecting it. That's how insulin resistance is born. Not in hospitals, but in kitchens, office, and bedrooms. Science now calls it hyperinsulinemia, meaning too much insulin in the blood. And it's the real beginning of metabolic disease. long before sugar goes up. If you test your fasting insulin early, you can stop diabetes before it even starts. But if you ignore it, insulin resistance grows quietly until one day your doctor says your sugar is high, you are diabetic now. That's not a surprise. That's a result. But here is the good news. Anything that's caused by lifestyle can be healed by lifestyle. When you give your insulin a break, when you fast, when you move, when you eat clean, real food, when you sleep early, your cells start listening again. Insulin resistance reverses, and when insulin resistance heals, diabetes never even gets a chance to appear. That's why I always say don't wait for your sugar to rise. Heal your insulin today. So, my friend, if your sugar is still normal, but your belly is growing, if you crave sweets, feel tired after meals, gain weight easily, don't ignore it. These are your body's early whispers. Don't wait for it to scream, because once you understand insulin resistance, you don't just prevent diabetes, you prevent heart disease, PCOS, fatty liver, hypertension, even Alzheimer's. All of these are different faces of the same monster, and the monster's name is insulin resistance. So, before you test your sugar, test your insulin and HOMA-IR. Before you treat symptoms, find the root cause. If this message touched your heart, share it with someone who still believes diabetes just happens. Comment below, I want to fix my insulin before it's too late. Because remember, you don't get diabetes overnight. It begins quietly. But you can end it consciously, naturally, scientifically, spiritually. Stay healthy, take care. JK Lifestyle, stay healthy without medicine.